Stephanie Smith equips and motivates people to do hard things and overcome barriers based on her 7-year journey of facing life-threatening and still unresolved health issues. Previous to this unexpected health ride, she used her MBA to grow her career at several amazing organizations, including Ernst & Young and Humana. She loves burying her feet in the sand at the beach with her 2 elementary-aged boys and her husband of 15 years. Please join me in welcoming Stephanie to the stage.
Thank you, Steve. Are you a statistic? 1 in 6 children has special needs. In the first half of 2009, 1.1 million homes were foreclosed. There are 43.5 million caregivers unpaid in our country today. Every day, 5,000 new cancer diagnoses are issued. Are you sad? Me too. I'm a statistic. The Mayo Clinic says approximately 1 in 13 Americans has a rare undiagnosed condition. They say it takes about 4.5 years to figure out what that accurate diagnosis is. I'm on year 7 and counting. They say it takes about 7 doctors to figure this out. I'm on doctor 25 and counting. Oh, sorry, went the wrong way. There we go. It was 7 years ago, and I found myself at 87 pounds. We had no idea what hit us. Brokenness comes to us in all forms. You're a statistic, I'm a statistic, and our brokenness, when it comes to us, can either become our identity and the trajectory for our future to places that we really don't want to go. It can be a weight that we carry that says, this is all you can do. This is all you can be. This is your limitation. And sometimes we nurse that. But brokenness, alternatively, could give us a future that says, I've got something better for you. It could be your catalyst to go do and be something that you have always wanted, but have been just a little bit too afraid to do. Brokenness could be your catalyst to meet people, engage people, and build relationships with people that will make you far better and energize you in ways right now you can't imagine. Brokenness can drive you to learn and grow deeply and widely in spaces and places that right now you can't even begin to fathom, so that you can improve your own life and impact the lives of people around you in bigger and better ways. Brokenness could be your opportunity. Brokenness could be your gift. See, I was 87 pounds, and these 2 kids over here, in the top left, I had a toddler and I had an infant. My toddler was running around my house like a maniac. My infant was learning to crawl. I was crawling with my infant. I'd lost my ability to walk. I would eat food, I would collapse to the ground. I was losing weight rapidly. I went blind in my left eye. I could no longer retain the degrees that I had worked so hard to gain and all the money spent and lost. I couldn't even have carried on a cohesive conversation. What was going on? Grit told me there's something on the other side of this. Grit told me I could go through this and find myself in a better place than I could ever imagine. Grit told me this was my opportunity. Grit tells you that there is opportunity ahead in your brokenness. Grit, determination, perseverance, and an indomitable spirit. Indomitable spirit tells you that you're going to face valleys. Grit is not a smooth ride. It doesn't click you up that mountain one at a time. You can't measure grit like we like to do in business school. You can't do that with grit. There will be valleys, and there will be mud, and there will be rivers. It was 1.5 years in. My kids are now just a little bit older. They're both running around the house like maniacs, toddlers. I had been to so many doctors. I had gone through all of their tests. All the results, normal. Except I wasn't. So now what do? Originally, I had this lofty goal of a diagnosis. I had this lofty goal of a treatment plan and this lofty goal of healing. That was gone. A year and a half in, I'm still crawling while my kids are running, and all I want to do is walk again. I want to drive a car again. We need me to do this. We have 2 little kids. So we did what every logical American does, and we go to the internet. So I research everything you can imagine. I try juicing, I try organic food, I try eliminating toxins from our home, I try essential oils. You name the thing, I know the thing. Some of those things did help a little bit, but none of them made a dynamic difference. So in a fit of rage, after having slept practically all of this year and a half and missing my children's lives, I decide I'm going to wage war on my body. See, it wouldn't let me walk, so I'm going to fight back. I'm done nurturing this thing. I'm going to fight. So I go to the park, and I walk on purpose. I make it 0.3 of a mile, and I collapse. Guys, I mean, how embarrassing, right? But I did something that made a difference in my life. I could tell deep within me that I had struck gold. So the next day I go back and do it again. 0.1 of a mile. I was so worn out from the day prior. I did it every single day. The kids and I, it became our rhythm. I had my big double jogging stroller. I'd load them in either a cup of ice cold water or a big blanket, depending upon the weather, and we would go just as far as I could, as long as I could, until I couldn't go anymore, and then I stopped. Some days it was a longer distance than previous, and some days it was shorter. 6 months into this process, my feet took off without me. I was running. I had never in my life run 6 consecutive steps at a time. I was not a runner. I went from crawling to running. I created opportunity accidentally. 6 months after that, I clocked my first running mile. 365 days of little bits of effort accumulated to me finding opportunity in my brokenness like I never thought I would ever do in my entire life. Grit tells you you can do it. Grit tells you you can make it. Grit tells you you can overcome. You're gritty people. You've overcome so many things to get here today. But somewhere in you, there's more grit to be discovered. Because I believe that there are broken pieces of your life that you're still fighting against. What about when you fail, flail, or quit? Because grit doesn't take you up that mountain smoothly. So what happens when you get into those deep waters? What happens when you find those valleys? What happens when you're crushed? Grace says it'll be all right. Grace suspends judgment, and it says it's going to be okay, because even though you never imagined this would be your circumstance, you can do this. It honors your pace. It tells you it will be okay, and someday you will rise. And until then, it's all right. Grit and grace together are the strategy in our brokenness to find that opportunity ahead. Grit and grace empower us to believe that there is more ahead and it is worth fighting for. Grit and grace together will give us the path to rise. So I leave you with the same umph that I give my kids every day. Go get them, Tiger.